The signal first appeared on a routine sweep of the Kuiper Belt monitoring stations. At first, the technicians at NASA's Deep Space Network dismissed it as another piece of space debris, one of countless rocks tumbling through the void. But Dr. Maya Patel knew better. After 15 years of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, she recognized patterns where others saw noise. "Run it through the quantum analyzer again," she ordered, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display. The signal pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm, too precise to be natural, too complex to be human-made. As the computers processed the data, Maya's hands trembled. This was it, the moment every SETI scientist dreamed of, yet somehow it felt wrong. Commander Sarah Chen received the alert while overseeing training exercises at the Luna Defense Base. Her squadron of next-generation Starfire fighters had just completed their final certification runs when the priority message flashed across her neural link. Within hours, she stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her dress uniform pristine despite the rushed departure from Luna. "The signal appears to be some form of quantum-encoded transmission," Maya explained to the assembled leaders, her hologram flickering slightly in the council chamber. "But here's what's concerning. It's not being broadcast. It's targeted directly at our monitoring stations. Whatever sent this knows we're here." Chen studied the data scrolling across her neural display. After the resource wars of 2185, humanity had finally united under the banner of survival, pushing out into the solar system with renewed purpose. They'd established colonies on Mars, mining operations in the asteroid belt, and research stations scattered throughout the outer system. But they'd never found evidence of other intelligent life. Until now. "How long until we can decode the message?" General Santos asked, his weathered face grave. "That's just it," Maya replied. "We already have. It's in perfect English." The chamber fell silent as she projected the decoded transmission. "We see you. We know you. You are inefficient. You will be optimized." The attack came 3 days later. The research station on Titan went dark first, followed by the mining colonies in the asteroid belt. No distress calls, no warnings, just silence. Chen watched from the bridge of the UES Hyperion as the reports filtered in, each one marking another human outpost gone quiet. The Vexteri, as they called themselves, moved with terrifying efficiency. They were silicon-based life forms, more machine than organic, viewing biological life as a flawed implementation of consciousness. Their ships appeared as crystalline structures, geometric perfection that somehow hurt the eyes to look at directly. Traditional sensors struggled to track them. They seemed to exist partially out of phase with normal spacetime. "All remaining ships, form up on my position," Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the growing dread in her stomach. The Hyperion's quantum sensors painted a grim picture, a vast fleet of Vexteri vessels moving methodically through the solar system, optimizing everything in their path, converting organic matter into silicon-based structures, rewriting reality according to their alien logic. Maya worked frantically in her lab on Earth, analyzing every scrap of data from the fallen outposts. "Their technology operates on principles we barely understand," she reported to Chen via quantum link. "But there's something strange about their behavior patterns. They're being thorough, methodical, almost like they're afraid of missing something." Chen pondered this as she coordinated what remained of Earth's outer defense fleet. Humanity's most advanced ships seemed primitive compared to the Vexteri vessels, yet they'd managed to hold the line at Jupiter's orbit. Not through superior firepower or technology, but through unpredictability. Human pilots made choices that the hyperlogical Vexteri struggled to anticipate. "They see us as inefficient," Chen mused, watching her crews scramble to repair battle damage between engagements. "But maybe that's our strength, our chaos, our inability to be perfectly optimized. It makes us harder to predict." Maya's voice crackled over the quantum link. "Sarah, I found something. Their ships, they're not just weapons. They're trying to build something. Every place they've optimized, They've left behind these crystalline structures. They're all connected, all growing, all pushing towards some larger pattern. The implications hit Chen like a physical blow. Earth wasn't just facing an invasion, it was facing conversion. The Vexteri weren't interested in conquest or destruction. They wanted to rewrite the very nature of human existence, to optimize humanity out of existence, and replace it with something more efficient. As Chen prepared her fleet for another desperate holding action, she realized humanity stood at a crossroads. They could retreat, abandon the outer system, and try to fortify Earth itself. Or it could take a stand here, in the cold darkness between the planets, and prove that human inefficiency, human unpredictability, human spirit was worth preserving. All ships, battle formations, she commanded, her voice carrying to every vessel in the fleet. We show them today that not everything needs to be optimized. Sometimes the flaws are what make us strong. The Vexteri fleet approached, their crystalline ships casting prismatic shadows across the void. Humanity's last line of defense hung in space before them, a ragtag collection of vessels crewed by beings the enemy saw as inherently flawed. But as Chen gave the order to engage, she smiled. Sometimes, the greatest strength lies in being exactly what your enemy thinks is a weakness. The quantum fabrication labs beneath Mount Cheyenne hummed with desperate energy. 3 months had passed since first contact with the Vexteri, and humanity had lost everything beyond Mars' orbit. But in these underground chambers, Dr. Maya Patel believed she had found a way to fight back. The neural interface is stable, she reported, her hands dancing across holographic controls as Commander Sarah Chen watched from the observation deck. Below them, the experimental vessel designated Phoenix Dawn floated in its construction cradle. Unlike the rigid geometric designs of traditional spacecraft, its hull rippled with an almost organic quality, dark metal flowing like liquid mercury. It's not just a ship, Maya explained, her voice tight with exhaustion and excitement. It's a hybrid, part machine, part synthetic biology. We've incorporated everything we've learned about Vexteri technology, but with a crucial difference. Instead of pursuing their perfect efficiency, we've embraced controlled chaos. The Phoenix Dawn represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, and its biggest gamble. Traditional weapons proved nearly useless against Vexteri ships, their crystalline hulls existing partially out of phase with normal spacetime. But Maya's team had discovered something revolutionary. The more rigidly structured a system became, the more vulnerable it was to quantum uncertainty. Chen stepped closer to the observation window, studying the ship that would either save humanity or represent its last failed experiment. How many pilots can it support? 5, Maya answered. But they won't just be pilots. The bioneural interface requires a complete synthesis between human consciousness and ship systems. Once linked, the Phoenix Dawn becomes an extension of their nervous system. Every sensation, every response, processed at quantum speeds. The selection process had been brutal. Out of thousands of candidates, only a handful could maintain mental stability during deep neural synchronization. Chen had chosen her crew carefully. Lieutenant Raj Patel, Maya's younger brother, whose intuitive grasp of quantum mechanics bordered on prescient. Captain Isabella Torres, whose test scores in neural adaptation exceeded all previous records. Dr. James Chen, no relation to Sarah, whose background in xenobiology proved crucial in understanding the hybrid systems. And finally, Lieutenant Zora Williams, whose unconventional tactical thinking had saved her entire squadron during the fall of Titan. The first test flight was scheduled for dawn. As Chen watched her crew prepare, she remembered Maya's words during their initial briefing. The Vexteri pursue perfection through rigid optimization. We'll defeat them by embracing imperfection, by being more alive than they can comprehend. The Phoenix Dawn's maiden voyage nearly ended in disaster. As the neural links activated, all 5 crew members screamed in unison. The ship's hybrid systems, responding to their collective consciousness, writhed like a living thing. Warning klaxons blared as quantum fluctuations threatened to tear the vessel apart. But they held on. Gradually, chaos resolved into harmony. The Phoenix Dawn stabilized, its hull pulsing with patterns that matched its crew's combined heartbeats. When Chen opened her eyes, she didn't see through them anymore. She saw through the ship's quantum sensors, felt space itself through its biomechanical nervous system. Neural synthesis complete. Maya's voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. All systems nominal. The Phoenix Dawn is alive. Training pushed the boundaries of what humanity thought possible. The ship could alter its physical structure in response to threats, healing damage almost instantly. Its weapons fired streams of quantum-entangled particles that could affect Vexteri ships regardless of their phase state. But the true breakthrough was in how it moved. The Vexteri relied on mathematical precision for their faster-than-light travel. The Phoenix Dawn, guided by human intuition and organic computation, slipped through space like water through cracks. It didn't need to calculate precise jump points. It felt them, found them through the same controlled chaos that governed human thought itself. 3 weeks after the first successful test, long-range sensors detected a Vexteri scout fleet approaching Mars. Chen stood on the Phoenix Dawn's bridge. Though stood wasn't quite right anymore. When neural linked, the crew existed as part of the ship, their consciousness thread through its systems. Remember, she communicated directly through the neural link. We're not trying to match their efficiency. We're going to show them something they've never seen before. Humanity's creative spirit merged with machine precision. We're not just fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting to prove that life itself, in all its beautiful imperfection, deserves to exist. The Phoenix Dawn moved like nothing ever seen in space combat. Where Vexteri ships followed perfect attack patterns, it flowed like quicksilver, its movements unpredictable yet purposeful. The first battle lasted less than 10 minutes. When it ended, 3 Vexteri vessels had been reduced to scattered crystals, and the rest had retreated. In the aftermath, as Maya's team analyzed the combat data, Chen received a priority transmission from Earth Command. The Phoenix Dawn's success had proven the concept. Project Phoenix was being expanded. More hybrid ships were already under construction. "We've found our answer," Chen told her crew as they disconnected from the neural interface, their eyes still glowing faintly with quantum energy. Not in becoming more like them, but in becoming more fully ourselves. The Vexteri want to optimize the universe. We're going to remind them that the universe isn't meant to be perfect, it's meant to be alive. The war was far from over, but for the first time since the Vexteri arrived, humanity had hope. Not just of survival, but of victory. As Chen watched her crew recover from the neural link, she knew that the next phase would be even harder. They had proven one ship could fight back. Now they needed to prove humanity as a whole could stand against the tide of optimization. The Phoenix Dawn pulsed in its docking cradle, its hybrid systems resonating with the collective determination of its crew. The real test was still to come, but they were ready. Ready to show the galaxy that efficiency wasn't everything. That sometimes the most powerful force in the universe was the beautiful, chaotic, inefficient human spirit. The discovery came from the most unlikely source. While analyzing debris from a destroyed Vexteri vessel, Dr. James Chen noticed something peculiar in the crystalline structure. The perfectly ordered patterns that made their ships nearly invulnerable had a fundamental flaw. They were too perfect. Every crystal has exactly the same quantum resonance frequency, he explained to Commander Sarah Chen and Dr. Maya Patil in the Phoenix Dawn's analysis lab. It's like they're all tuned to the same note, and anything that perfectly tuned can be shattered by the right counter frequency. Maya finished, her eyes widening with understanding. They're vulnerable to quantum harmonic disruption. The revelation came just in time. The Vexteri had adapted to the Phoenix Dawn's existence, adjusting their tactics to account for its unpredictable nature. 3 more hybrid ships had joined the fight: Phoenix Rise, Phoenix Storm, and Phoenix Flame. But the enemy's numbers were overwhelming. They had pushed past Mars, establishing a crystalline beachhead in the asteroid belt. Commander Chen stood in the Phoenix Dawn's neural interface chamber, feeling the ship's hybrid systems pulse around her. Through the quantum sensors, she could see the massive Vexteri fleet assembling near Ceres. Their crystalline ships had formed into a vast geometric pattern, like a fractal expanding through space. "They're building something," Lieutenant Zora Williams observed through the neural link. "Those patterns, they're not just for show. They're creating some kind of quantum network." The implications hit Chen like a physical blow. The Vexteri weren't just trying to optimize individual planets or systems. They were attempting to rewrite the fundamental laws of local spacetime, to force reality itself to conform to their ideals of perfect efficiency. The plan came together quickly, born of desperation and human ingenuity. Dr. James Chen and Maya worked around the clock, modifying the Phoenix Squadron's quantum weapon systems to generate precise harmonic frequencies. But there was a catch. To deliver the disruption wave with sufficient power, they would need to get dangerously close to the center of the Vexteri formation. "It's a suicide mission," Captain Isabella Torres stated flatly during the final briefing. No one disagreed, but no one backed down either. The battle began at the edge of the asteroid belt. All 4 Phoenix ships dropped out of quantum space simultaneously, their hybrid hulls writhing with accumulated energy. The Vexteri response was immediate and overwhelming. Crystalline vessels moved with perfect coordination, their weapons firing in mathematically precise patterns. But humanity had learned from every encounter. The Phoenix Squadron danced through the enemy formation, their movements guided by intuition and instinct rather than calculation. The Vexteri's perfect formations became a weakness. They couldn't adapt quickly enough to the controlled chaos of human tactics. "Phoenix Rise, Phoenix Storm, take the flanks," Chen ordered through the neural link. "Phoenix Flame, you're our anchor. Dawn will make the run." Lieutenant Raj Patel's voice came through the link, tight with tension but determined. "The harmonic disruptor is charged. We'll only get one shot at this." The Phoenix Dawn plunged deeper into the enemy fleet, its hybrid hull absorbing impossible amounts of damage. Through the neural interface, Chen felt every hit as if it were striking her own body. The other Phoenix ships provided covering fire, their quantum weapons creating disruption patterns that forced the Vexteri to constantly recalculate their perfect formations. They were halfway to the target point when Phoenix Storm took a direct hit. Chen felt Lieutenant Williams scream through the neural link as the ship's hybrid systems began to fail. But even in death, the ship proved humanity's strength. Its deteriorating quantum core created a cascade of unpredictable energy that scattered the nearest Vexteri vessels. Almost there, Chen broadcast to her remaining ships, "Hold formation." The Phoenix Dawn reached the calculated focal point, its systems straining to maintain coherence. Through the quantum sensors, Chen could see the full scope of the Vexteri's plan. Their crystalline network was moments away from achieving critical mass. "Activating harmonic disruptor," Dr. James Chen announced. "Transmitting frequency now." The wave of quantum disruption expanded outward from the Phoenix Dawn like ripples in a pond. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, one by one, the perfectly ordered crystals of the Vexteri ships began to vibrate. The vibrations grew stronger, cascading through their formation as the harmonic resonance built upon itself. The first ship shattered into 1,000,000 glittering fragments. Then another and another. The Vexteri tried to adapt, to change their crystalline structure, but their dedication to perfect efficiency had become their undoing. They couldn't change fast enough to counter the chaotic frequencies generated by the hybrid ships. Phoenix Flame was the next to fall, its sacrifice buying precious seconds as the disruption wave continued to expand. Captain Torres and her crew never hesitated, driving their failing ship into the heart of the enemy formation, their final moments creating even more chaos in the perfectly ordered system. When it was over, the asteroid belt was filled with drifting crystalline debris, all that remained of the largest Vexteri fleet humanity had yet encountered. The Phoenix Dawn hung in space, its hybrid systems barely functional, but alive. Through the neural link, Chen felt the exhaustion and grief of her surviving crew, but also their fierce pride. They had found the enemy's weakness, but the cost had been devastating. As rescue ships approached their position, Chen received a transmission from Earth Command. The quantum disruption wave had worked better than anyone dared hope. Similar crystalline structures throughout the solar system were showing signs of instability. "We've given them something they've never encountered before." Maya's voice came through the quantum link, weary but triumphant. "A problem they can't solve through optimization." The victory had come at a terrible price, but it had proven something vital. Humanity's greatest strength lay not in trying to match the Vexteri's perfect efficiency, but in embracing the chaos and creativity that made them human. As Chen initiated the disconnect sequence from the neural interface, she knew that the war was far from over. But for the first time, she believed they could win it. The survivors of the Phoenix Squadron had shown the way forward. Now it was time to take the fight to the enemy, to push them back not just from the solar system, but from their very conception of how the universe should be. In the end, it wasn't efficiency that would save humanity. It was their beautiful, chaotic, imperfect nature that would prove to be their greatest weapon. The quantum forges beneath every major city on Earth worked at full capacity, their energy signatures visible from orbit as humanity prepared for its greatest gambit. 6 months had passed since the Battle of the Asteroid Belt, and the lessons learned from the Phoenix Squadron had transformed human civilization. Commander Sarah Chen stood in the new Global Defense Command Center, watching holographic displays track the construction of humanity's renewed fleet. The surviving Phoenix Dawn had become the template for a new generation of hybrid vessels, each one incorporating the quantum harmonic technology that had proven so effective against the Vexteri. "We're not just building ships anymore," Dr. Maya Patel explained as she joined Chen at the command center. "We're evolving them. Each new vessel learns from the experiences of the others through the quantum network. They're becoming more alive with each iteration." The Vexteri had withdrawn to the outer solar system after their defeat, but long-range sensors detected massive construction efforts around Neptune. They were adapting, attempting to modify their crystalline technology to resist quantum harmonic disruption. Time was running out. "How many ships will be ready?" Chen asked, studying the production figures. 300 hybrid vessels by the end of the month," Maya replied. "But numbers aren't what matters. It's the synchronization. Every ship, every crew member, connected through the quantum neural network. Not just fighting as a fleet, but thinking as one." The integration of human consciousness with machine intelligence had advanced beyond anything they'd imagined. The neural interfaces no longer required physical connection. Quantum entanglement allowed pilots to link with their ships from anywhere on Earth. Training could be conducted in virtual space, crews learning to work together across vast distances. Lieutenant Raj Patel, one of the few survivors of the original Phoenix Squadron, led the training programs. "The key is embracing the chaos," he told each new crew. "Don't try to control it. Feel it, flow with it, let it become part of you." The first signs of the Vexteri counterattack came as quantum distortions near Uranus. Their ships had changed, their crystalline structures now layered with complex patterns that shifted and flowed like liquid geometry. They had learned from their defeat, attempting to incorporate chaos into their perfect systems. But humanity had not been idle. The new fleet gathered in high Earth orbit, 300 hybrid vessels pulsing with shared consciousness. Commander Chen stood on the bridge of the Phoenix Dawn, feeling the quantum network connect her not just to her ship, but to every vessel and crew member in the fleet. "They tried to optimize us out of existence," she broadcast through the network, her thoughts reaching every linked mind. "They saw our chaos as a flaw. Today we show them that chaos isn't weakness. It's the force that drives evolution, that creates beauty, that makes life worth living." The battle began in the space around Saturn. The Vexteri fleet emerged from quantum space in perfect formation, their modified ships immune to the original harmonic frequencies. But humanity had anticipated this. The hybrid fleet didn't move as individuals, but as a single organic entity, each ship responding to the collective intuition of thousands of linked minds. Through the quantum network, Chen felt every engagement, every triumph, every loss. The Vexteri's attempts to incorporate chaos into their systems proved insufficient. They could mimic unpredictability, but they couldn't truly understand it. Their movements remained bound by mathematical precision, while the human fleet flowed like a living tide. The turning point came when Phoenix Dawn led a strike force into the heart of the enemy formation. The Vexteri, expecting another harmonic attack, had prepared countermeasures. Instead, the hybrid ships initiated what Maya had dubbed the quantum dance, a cascade of unpredictable energy patterns that didn't attack the enemy's crystalline structure, but rather invited it to resonate at its own frequency. The effect was devastating. The Vexteri ships, trying to maintain their perfect efficiency while adapting to chaos, began to experience quantum state collapse. Their attempts to optimize the unpredictable created paradoxes in their operating systems, causing entire vessels to phase out of normal spacetime. But victory came at a heavy cost. A third of the human fleet was destroyed in the engagement, their crew's final moments echoing through the quantum network. Chen felt each loss as a physical pain, the shared consciousness of the fleet grieving even as it pressed the attack. As the battle reached its climax, the surviving Vexteri ships attempted to retreat. Their perfectly ordered formations had broken down completely, individual vessels acting without coordination. For the first time, humanity witnessed something unprecedented. Vexteri ships moving in truly chaotic patterns, driven by what could only be described as panic. "They're running," Raj announced through the network, his thoughts tinged with grim satisfaction. "But not back to Neptune. They're leaving the solar system entirely." The victory celebrations on Earth were tempered by the knowledge of what had been sacrificed to achieve it. The quantum network had made every loss personal. Every crew member who died had been connected to the collective consciousness, their final moments shared by all. But something else had emerged from the crucible of battle. The surviving ships and crews had achieved a level of synthesis that transcended both human and machine. The quantum network had evolved into something new, a collective intelligence that retained individual identity while sharing in a greater whole. As the fleet regrouped in Saturn's orbit, Commander Chen received a transmission from Earth Command. Long-range sensors had detected Vexteri signals from multiple nearby star systems. The enemy hadn't just been targeting Earth, they had been establishing optimization networks throughout this sector of space. "We've won our solar system back," Maya's thoughts came through the network. But this was just the beginning. There are other civilizations out there facing the same threat. The question is, do we stop here, or do we take the fight to them? Chen looked out through Phoenix Dawn's quantum sensors at the assembled fleet, feeling the determination and resolve flowing through the collective consciousness. Humanity had not just survived the Vexteri attempt to optimize them out of existence, they had evolved beyond it. Their chaotic nature, combined with their technology, had created something entirely new. The real war was just beginning. But now, they were ready to show the galaxy that true advancement came not from perfect efficiency, but from the beautiful chaos of life itself. At the edge of the Kuiper Belt, where humanity had first detected the Vexteri signal, Commander Sarah Chen prepared for what might be her final mission. The quantum network had revealed the location of the Vexteri staging point, a massive crystalline structure orbiting a brown dwarf star 12 light-years from Earth. "The structure isn't just a base," Dr. Maya Patel explained through the quantum link. Her consciousness merged with the fleet's collective intelligence. "It's a node in their optimization network. From there, they're spreading their influence across hundreds of star systems." The combined fleet of 500 hybrid vessels represented everything humanity had learned in their war against the Vexteri. Each ship pulsed with evolved consciousness, their hybrid systems so advanced that the line between organic and machine had become meaningless. Through the quantum network, Chen could feel the determination of every crew member, their minds united in purpose while maintaining their unique identities. Lieutenant Raj Patel, commanding the second wave, shared his analysis through the network. The Vexteri aren't just trying to optimize individual worlds anymore. That structure, it's like a seed crystal. They're trying to force the entire sector of space to conform to their perfect mathematical order. The implications were staggering. If the Vexteri succeeded, they would rewrite the quantum foundations of spacetime itself, creating a region of perfect efficiency where chaos, and therefore life as humanity knew it, could not exist. The attack began with a quantum jump that would have been impossible months ago. The hybrid fleet didn't just travel through space. It flowed through probability itself, emerging at precisely the point where the Vexteri least expected them. The element of surprise was total, but the enemy recovered quickly. The crystalline structure erupted with energy, launching thousands of newly evolved Vexteri vessels. Their ships had changed again, incorporating organic elements in a twisted attempt to match humanity's hybrid technology. But their interpretation of organic systems was still bound by their need for perfect efficiency. All ships initiate the Chaos Protocol, Chen commanded through the network. The hybrid fleet split apart, each vessel moving in patterns that defied prediction while maintaining quantum coherence with the whole. It was a dance of calculated randomness that the Vexteri, for all their attempts to adapt, couldn't fully comprehend. The battle unfolded across multiple dimensions of spacetime. Traditional weapons were meaningless here. The real fight took place at the quantum level, each side trying to impose their vision of reality on the local universe. The Vexteri fought for perfect order, while humanity championed the creative chaos that had driven their evolution. Through the quantum network, Shen felt the moment when Maya's latest innovation activated. The hybrid ships began generating quantum resonance fields that didn't attack the Vexteri directly, but rather emphasized the natural chaos inherent in reality itself. The effect rippled through space, causing the enemy's crystalline formations to face an impossible choice: adapt to chaos or maintain their perfect efficiency. The cost was devastating. Dozens of hybrid ships were lost in the initial exchange, their crew's final moments shared across the collective consciousness. But each sacrifice served a purpose, creating ripples of unpredictability that the Vexteri couldn't counter. The structure's quantum matrix is destabilizing, Raj reported, his thoughts tinged with both triumph and concern. But there's something else, something deeper in the signal. Maya's consciousness surged through the network, analyzing the data. It's not just a signal. It's a cry for help. The Vexteri, they're not natural. They're what's left of a civilization that tried to achieve perfect efficiency. They optimized themselves into this crystalline form, and now they can't stop. They're trapped in their own perfection. The revelation changed everything. Chen directed the Phoenix Dawn toward the heart of the crystalline structure, its hybrid systems resonating at frequencies that spoke not of destruction, but of change. The quantum network carried her message to every ship in the fleet, and through them, to the Vexteri themselves. You don't have to be perfect, she broadcast, the thought carrying through quantum space. Life isn't meant to be optimized. It's meant to be lived, with all its beautiful imperfections. For a moment, nothing changed. Then, like a wave spreading through crystal, the Vexteri ships began to shift. Their rigid formations dissolved, replaced by movements that showed the first true signs of individual choice. The crystalline structure itself began to pulse with new patterns, chaos and order dancing in impossible harmony. The transformation wasn't instant, and it wasn't complete. Many Vexteri ships, unable or unwilling to abandon their pursuit of perfect efficiency, chose self-destruction instead. But others began to change, their crystalline forms incorporating elements of controlled chaos, learning to exist in the balance between order and randomness. As the battle ended, Shen received a different kind of signal through the quantum network. Other civilizations, hidden from the Vexteri's optimization efforts, were reaching out. Humanity had proven itself not just as warriors, but as liberators, champions of life's inherent right to be beautifully, perfectly imperfect. The Phoenix Dawn hung in space near the transformed crystalline structure, its hybrid systems resonating with new understanding. They had come seeking to end a war, but had instead sparked a revolution, one that would ripple through the galaxy, teaching others that true evolution came not from the pursuit of perfection, but from the courage to embrace chaos. We should give them a new name, Maya suggested through the network, watching the changed Vexteri ships begin to explore their newfound freedom. They're not the same beings who tried to optimize us out of existence. Chen agreed, feeling the quantum network pulse with possibilities. Humanity had evolved beyond its own limitations, creating something new in the synthesis of organic and machine. Now they could help others do the same, showing the galaxy that the most beautiful patterns emerged not from perfect order, but from the dance between chaos and efficiency. The war was over, but humanity's journey was just beginning. The stars beckoned, filled with civilizations waiting to learn what the survivors of Earth had discovered. That true advancement came not from optimization, but from the courage to remain beautifully, chaotically alive.